Welcome to Jewish Midlife, a place for us to laugh and fetch, be supported, inspire, and learn about this exciting stage of midlife. Hi, I'm Devora Krasnianski, and I'm passionate about helping women thrive and enjoy this time of our lives. There's lots of resources on our website, jewishmidlife.com, and on Facebook and on Instagram, and please follow us here for upcoming episodes and many more resources. Today's episode is different from our usual conversations about midlife. Right now, there's a war in Israel, and Jews all over are feeling it. We all care. We're all one family. And so we have this mumble of emotions all at once: anger and hope, sadness, shock, fear, despair, and pride. All of these emotions combined create a cocktail of stress that can really take a toll on us. So, to help us navigate these challenging times, I had the privilege of speaking with Shulamit Rebecca Frankel, who's a somatic and life mindset coach. And in our conversations, we addressed many crucial points on how to cope with the emotional roller coaster we're finding ourselves. Shlamit also leads us through a deeply relaxing meditation that can help us ground in these tumultuous times. So, join us for this special episode as we explore ways to manage our emotions and find some peace in this time of uncertainty.
Shalom, and I'm so excited to talk to you. In our other conversations, you had so much wisdom about life in general. And then here we are with the war being a little over a week. And it's like settled in that this is our new now. And there's
Oh, yeah.
so many emotions and there's so much going on. And I thought that was important. And there's lots of wonderful podcasts out there about emunah, but I felt like for me and for many people that I'm talking to, we're looking for like really how to center ourselves, how to get present again. So I know that's a lot of what you do. So I'm really excited to have this conversation. So before we even get started, just talk a little bit about what you do in general, so we know why I'm talking to you specifically.
Thank you for giving me this window of opportunity to see if I can serve anyone else in this situation. When you say it's been a week, it feels like it's been 100 years. Like people that I saw before Sukkot, it seems like pre-war, been a long time. A little bit of introduction about me. What do I do? I have been through many iterations in my life. And so I think it's nice for me to connect with your audience because in midlife, I think many of us have as women. We don't attach as much our identity to our career as perhaps men do, or maybe that's a story, but I feel very strongly that women are creative. We are flexible. We have that strength of being able to go with the flow. And so I've been many things in my life. I'm an artist. I work in glass. I make beautiful things out of glass, including mezuzot, which weirdly, as I say it right now, gives me so much happiness to be able to share in God's protection for people and for home. And although I was a corporate lawyer, I trained as that shortly after my divorce. I thought, let me just hammer through this, make the most amount of money that I can on my own for my children and show everybody that I don't need a man. Actually, I burned out in that career and I felt very sharply for the first time how much all of that out of validation, money, success, status, beautiful corner office in the city, looking out over St. Paul, the beautiful handmade, monogrammed shirts didn't really help me at all when I was feeling unhappy on the inside. And so I did eventually leave. And what happened was I then took on a series of jobs working for Jewish charities, so international organizations. I worked for JNF, which is people made of Gakil, working in the south of Israel. They were very, very familiar and have a very deep understanding of the suffering of people in the south, which is daily. Their whole life is built on the premise of war. Like their kindergartens are in bomb-proof shelters, their hospitals have no windows, just as an example. And so, yes, I worked as a lawyer and head of fundraising for many of these charities, Zaka, including Zaka. You may have heard of them. They rescue bodies from, I don't want to trigger anyone, from desperate situations where, and I always never really understood that part because I thought, well, isn't that a little bit like gruesome work to do? And then I realized that beyond the actual material, the body that we're bringing back, but it's actually about closure for the relatives to be able to say, I was able to give my son a burial. Like a simpler thing as that can give so much relief. So a lot of the things that I've done in my life are suddenly making a lot of sense to me right now. And what happened during COVID was that I was left on my own with many spinning thoughts about the career and where it had taken me and why it was very different to where I really wanted to be. Fundraising was not something I was good at it, wasn't really something I wanted to do. And at the same time, I'd just gone through a horrible breakup, and I realized that there was a pattern of codependency that I hadn't even known what codependency was, but I realized it was a very negative, unhealthy pattern in the men that I was dating. And so I came to a very strong and stark conclusion that the common denominator of all the disasters that had happened in my life was actually me. And so I actually went and did all the inner work and even hired a coach to help me figure out what's going on. And within 2 months, I was a different person. And he actually predicted this, and I thought he was nuts. But I actually ended up taking a year of very high level intensive training to become a somatic coach. So somatic means working with the body. I'd gone through years of therapy. I have parents who were Holocaust survivors, and I was very much a parentified child, they call it now, where I was taking care of people from a very early age. I was an auntie from the age of 7. I have over 100 nieces and nephews, and I even have 2 a nephew and a great niece. My great nephew was born on Simchat Torah. Had his Brit on Simchat Torah. So if you can imagine the day of the war, we were getting pictures of him in this little tiny apartment in Jerusalem on the balcony, and there's sirens outside, and they're saying Shema Yisrael and blessing this baby. I'd never in my life seen anything so evocative of that. And I've never seen such a symbol of the beauty of our nation as all the images that I've been seeing, which I'm really, really privileged to be a part of. And I would strongly encourage all people listening to tune into that part. You know what occurred to me as I was getting ready for this? I have had so little time to even think, and women often are like, we get up in the morning and it's our children and breakfast and taking care of others. And we often don't even have a minute to ourselves. Just to breathe. And I encourage you, take this breath with me, just breathe in and maybe place your hand there at your heart, one on the belly, and allow the breath to really sink deep into the belly, because that's where the nervous system can soothe itself. But breathing into the belly, 1, letting it out, just that soothing, gentle breath. And I could do some of that later as well, like a beautiful soothing meditation with the breath, to access the safety that's within all of us, because it's always.
I'm so glad we're talking, because there's so much that's going on around us.
Yeah. Bring yourself up with as simple as the breath. And a lot of the work that I do in my coaching is just with breath, using the breath. I listen for about 5 minutes, no more. People don't need to talk out their whole lives to me and try and explain every corner of a situation. It's not necessary. We think with our minds that the mind will lie to us and it will keep us in that loop. And actually the wisdom is in the body never. And so what I had a minute to think about while I was having a cup of tea, I'm very British, so I like to have a cup of tea. Cup of tea. And as I was thinking about Hamas, the word Hamas, look at it. The opposite, if you reverse the word, is Simcha. Simcha, I see it the whole time, these messages. I say my Tehillim, and every single pasuk of Tehillim from the beginning, there are allusions to we defeat the enemy, and the name Hamas comes up in the Tehillim all the time. In Simchat Torah, we had nothing but the Torah reading. The Haftarah was talking about, I give you this land, it's from me. Do not worry, do not fear. I am behind you. I will walk with you. Hashem is with you all the time. Now, I'm sorry to keep banging on about emunah, but I have to say, I've gone to law school. I've gone to art school. I've gone to beauty school. I've gone to coaching school. I've learned a lot in my life. And the one thing that stands me by more than any of these academic things, psychotherapy, lovely, this and that and the other, but underlying it, if you don't have a sense of emunah, in something higher and meaning in yourself, in that connection, in that part of you that knows that you're okay, they can't take anything away from you that isn't real. What real is within. There's nothing without that. You can have psychotherapists. I know my sister-in-law used to delight in telling me a story about there was a shooting match on Brooklyn Bridge between two two people and they filled each other with a husband and wife and they were both therapists. She laughed at me. That's good. But you can be a therapist and be very unhealthy. And so what I'm trying to get to is that underlying it is, you see very clearly sometimes the forces of darkness are alive in the world and you think, what am I going to do with that? And if you start tuning into the darkness, you're lost. You can go down the rabbit hole. There's always more darkness. But if you shine a little light, that's sometimes enough to dispel all the darkness because then you can see. And that's what I try to do.
Thank you. So, I mean, as far as like all the darkness, there's so much darkness on social media or just talking to people. And I think that, of course, it's easy to say, just don't go there, but just don't go there. But let's talk about how to ground ourselves, like how to really not go there.
Those are some good questions. Social media, it's a personal choice. There are some people who have to be on there for business. I personally, I deleted not my account, but I deleted the apps off my phone for 2 days because I was in my head and I saw that I was looping. And then there came a point where I was like, no, I have to say something because silence is also trauma. And my community around me are hurting or bleeding. And I am articulate, so I'm able to say things. And I have friends, because of the nature of my life, I've traveled the world and I've had lots of different friends. And I continue to have Muslim friends and Arab friends and Chinese. But, I'm getting messages from everywhere. And I think, you do have to say something. Boundary it. Put a time limit on it. Set your clock. 15 minutes, 10 minutes, however long it takes. Preset that in your head beforehand. And yes, you're going to make a mistake and stay on for longer and get in the loop. And then just have some compassion for yourself. You did. Okay. Done. Boundarying it, not in terms of the amount of time, not only in terms of the amount of time that you're on, but also in terms of who you're going to talk to. There's a point at which you're shouting into the wind. You don't need to convince the whole world that you're right. I think the truth doesn't need to defend itself. And those people who think that Hamas are fighting for human rights are a lost cause. We're not speaking to them. I think not only as a coach, but as a human being, I think there's just common sense in realizing that we're being called on to reinforce ourselves here, to support each other, to come together. I think we're seeing the most amazing display of activism I've ever seen in my life, of Jewish community, and it's being led, as far as I can see, by Jewish women like us. And I'd like to say a little thing in praise of Jewish women like us, if I may. To honor you, to honor Natalie Garson, who brought together a beautiful global Jewish entrepreneurs women's network, to honor people who are just decided to do a WhatsApp group, to say this, I'm studying this Sha'ar HaBitachon, Gate of Trust, and I'm now doing it free online for anybody who wants to. I'm not a rabbanit. I'm not but I just think women are coming together to heal, to strengthen each other. These are simple things that anyone can do. Just to read out of a book, you don't need to be, we can just presence each other. That's a healing tool. Presence is such a gift. Listening.
So important to the together. For some people, everyone has their own reactions. For some people want to be together. Some people want to be alone, and then they can do their way.
There's a time for that. There's a time for that. And if you feel the need to be alone, listen to that need, because you're a person too. And so really what I wanted to say is women historically have put everybody else first before themselves. And the minute that you are born, even, you're like, be a good girl, don't say anything. And men are more given a rope for permission to own things, to do things, to say things, to shout out loud, to be present, to claim their space. Whether it's money or land or business or sex even, women are encouraged to just submit and be submissive and, not to deserve to have their own space. And I think that's actually not a Torah attitude at all. And I think that women are reclaiming our space. It's a gentle space, but it's an important space and it's a sacred space. And it's a space where we're allowed to have emotions, process them together, or learn. There's an analogy I like to use of a hot potato. And I know it's a bit of a funny one, but imagine someone's giving you a hot potato and you just pass it on. It's because the potato is too hot for you. you don't feel like you're capable of receiving that potato. And I think it's the same with resources, like the ones I mentioned: time, like money, like compassion, soothing, all beautiful blessings that we have and can access at any time, but we feel not deserving of because we think we have to give it to someone else first. No, I want to encourage all women to really understand how precious and deserving they are to claim that space that they need for themselves first, because you can't fill from an empty cup. And what I mean by that is, if everyone is making demands on your time and you're showing up for them, but it causes you to like lose your, I don't know how to say it in a nice way. I'm going to say a word. Um, Take some time out, just go for a walk. Everything can wait. It can all wait. And I think, if somebody gave you a wedding gift or, any gift and you're like, not really sure about that. You put it in a cupboard and then the time comes when you have a friend and you're like, I don't know, she's not such a good friend, but I think I want to give her a gift. So I'll just use this one that I didn't really want and rewrap it and give it. We've all been on the receiving end of that type of gift that was just obviously a requisition gift that was supposed to be, they didn't really want. The way I see it is, HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives us blessings. And if we say, oh, why do I want money? I want money to be able to give it to somebody else. I want time to be able to give my time to others. And I want a big house. I can have an open house guest. Beautiful. That's lovely. But don't forget, HaKadosh Baruch Hu loves you too. He wants you to have a beautiful home so that you can be happy in it. He wants you to have time because he wants to grace you with his presence, with his appreciation, with your appreciation of flowers, of nature, beauty, of your own children, for you, just for you. And you don't have to feel the rush like a hot potato to pass these gifts on to others, or that you're not deserving of that.
And I think it's applicable now, especially with all the stress. And some of us are giving so much, whether it's to our kids or just to the communities. Like, find your space that
Yes.
But some people are actually finding that giving others and being busy is a good distraction, and
Yeah.
they feel that they're doing something as opposed to not doing something, and as opposed to just like standing there frozen. So that they're doing is good for them. So
Yes.
there's all different kinds of reactions at this point. But like I find that for some people, like they're reaching out to me, they just need to ground themselves so they can give more or be more, and allow themselves to not want to be a giver or not want to be a doer. But I think that everyone has different ways of responding to this, and it's not something that we have. It's not familiar to us. Like, we don't know, like, in the past when this happened, this is how I behaved, or this is what I did, or this is what I didn't do. So this
There
is
is no precedent.
beyond.
This is beyond. There's no precedent. And if people feel the need to distract themselves by giving to others, then that's great. So distract yourself and do that. Some people feel they need to watch Netflix, then do that thing. You need to eat cake, then do that thing. Everything in moderation. But there's nothing wrong. There's no judgment there. All I'm saying is, look, during COVID, we were all forced, some of us were forced to be alone. Some of us were forced to be with our children. For me, I was alone. And it felt very similarly to me, like when my last kid left home. I'm very blessed and grateful to have 3 children. And the last one left home some 10 years ago at least. And they're now, in June, they're all married. And it's a very different feeling having an empty home from somebody who's now a mom and now a grandma, Baruch Hashem. And I'm very used to cooking big pots of soup and giving and hosting and this and that. And they're all gone and it's quiet. And there's a fear in the silence. There can be a kind of trauma in not being able to give. And all I'm offering to people is the idea that when you finish giving at the end of the day and you're lying in bed alone with your thoughts, can we create a safe space there for you? So that you're giving not from a place of, I need to give because without that I'm lost, but from a place where I'm safe within and I'm giving from that place of safety. It's a different type of giving. And I think you'll find when you come to it, that even presencing your fear, and if you need help with that, please contact me. And for me, I'm actually not charging for sessions at the moment because I just feel like I just want to show up for the Jewish community right now. So this week and next week, for sure, I'm just holding sessions with people. Devora will tell you how to get in touch with me, both privately and publicly. And I can help you how to presence any fears that come up so that they're not as scary. And so that next time they come up, you know what to do. And that you have tools that are specific to you, or even general tools to be able to understand, like, you're always there. You're always okay. And you don't have to distract yourself, but you can. It's perfect, fine, and it's human.
And there's all kinds of distractions, and it's okay to distract yourself with something that's not necessarily giving to others. This is so crazy these times, and we all have such different ways of reacting. Not judging ourselves for the way we're reacting, not judging ourselves for not being more giving. We're not judging ourselves for giving so much that we are depleted. But I think that we should actually recognize what we are doing. I think that's an important piece. Is there's just recognizing what you're doing, and maybe there's something that you can do a little bit differently. Maybe give a little bit more, so you're off of Instagram a little bit more, and just see if it's the right thing for you. But I think the observing how I'm responding, and is this the way I want to be responding, not just letting myself get on Instagram for 7 hours a day because that's how I'm responding. I think it's worth evaluating, or maybe talking to somebody and saying, this is what I'm doing. I just want to do something different, unless you don't. But I think the point is just observe how you're responding.
Absolutely. Become aware of your patterns and notice. The first step to healing is being awareness. I consider the second step to be compassionate presencing of that awareness, to understand and not judge yourself in that moment. And then the third one would be, okay, how does it get to be easy to change that thing? Because just allowing yourself permission to do that. I'll give you an example. Okay, so you mentioned scrolling. I'm a scroller. I do that thing. I had to really put limits for myself. But even then, I say to myself 5 minutes and I set an alarm, and I'm like, I want to still argue with people and give them my opinion. I'm losing here. And then what I notice now, I just say, yeah, okay, I'm doing that thing. Or I put the phone down, step away from the phone. And there doesn't have to be that judgment like, oh, you're so stupid. What did you do? You wasted all your time. 3 hours gone by. You could have done. That judgment is also harmless. So what I'm saying is there is a terrorism going on, and there is captivity going on. And how are we doing that to ourselves? And can we recognize that and step into the light? For every shadow, there's an equal opposite light. They attacked us on Simchat Torah. I don't think that was coincidence. I think that was a very clear message from God that we have to go to the Simcha of Torah. We have to have, first and foremost, inner joy, because everything comes from that. They come from a place of hate, fear. What's the opposite of that? Love. And what would you call the opposite of fear? I don't know. Joy.
Joy.
Whatever you bring that thing. There's something I like to call it the tool, and I'll offer it to all people here because I practice it every day. And it's called the line of courage. And I learned it from a beautiful coach that was one of my coaches, because I've had many and I still do. And her name is, she's not Jewish, her name is Laura St. John. Encourage you to follow her. She's amazing. She's just this positive, chirpy American. And she just brings it. So she calls it the line of courage. And I actually think that comes, all these things are in the Torah. I'm not saying she took it from the Torah, but it's always in the Torah. My youngest son's bar mitzvah sedra was Ray. And it says the first pasuk in there, I said to him, that was the first bar mitzvah that I did for my son, because the other two kids, like, I was married, and then with him, I was just divorced. And for whatever reason, I ended up in hotel rooms up and down of Israel, giving him his holiday for his bar mitzvah, and of course, hearing him playing his sedra, explaining his Torah portion. And it just was so resonant to me. I said to him, honey, if you just remember this one sentence, that's your whole life ahead of you, okay? That will guide you through life. And the sentence was like this. Forgive me if I misquote, because I'm not thoroughly remembering the whole thing correctly, but it's something like this. Rei anochi noten lifnechem hayom et hatov v'et hara. Behold, I'm putting before you today the good and the bad. Ubechartem et hatov. You choose the good. Now I'm hearing my mother's voice in this, like, yes, Sheikha, you see those two things. I choose the good one. Such simple advice, and it's so beautiful. Today we're seeing catastrophe and disaster and atrocities and things like that, and we're being urged to look at it by the media, by Hamas. That's what they want. They want to terrorize us. And if we could just close that down and say, no, we're going to turn to this instead. We had this beautiful book of Tehillim. Isn't that beautiful? And Hashem had told us that David HaMelech has been through every atrocity. He lost his son. All of the things you can imagine happening to a human being happened to David. And I like to think that the reason that his Sefer stands now and people turn to it in times of trouble is not because he was a pure holy saint and sat on a mountain being holy. No, he went through all trials and tribulations of life, a very complicated few marriages and loss and grief. And because of his struggle, he could bring that faith. And I think that the way I look at it is when I've been through things in life, even COVID, that was a big struggle for me being by myself in COVID, and breakups that I've had and issues that I've had with, narcissistic partners or bullying at work and anything that I can think of. At the time, I was like, they're horrific things to go through. But now I realize they brought me strengths that I can offer to other people. And there's this movie called The Karate Kid. And I can't remember exactly what the premise was, but the teacher was giving this kid stuff to do, like wash the car, wash it this way, wash it that way. And he's like, why are you giving me these things to do? Like, this is just annoying and boring. But when it came to his when he had to step forward and be a part of this karate championship, he had those moves down. He was like, it was second nature to him. He knew exactly what to do. And so when we go through stuff in life, we're seeing it as trouble. But when we integrate and we come from a place of essence, from the Shema, not from ego, we can settle down with that thing and think, wow, thank you. Now I know what to do, and no one can take that away from me. I have that strength that's inside me, and that's safety. That's where safety is within.
Let's talk a little bit how someone can actually ground yourself. Like, because there's so much. Sometimes we feel grounded and sometimes we feel so dysregulated. Yeah. So
I know. And everybody has different tools. There are so many. There's meditation and music. Music's the big one for me. So I could encourage you. And again, I'm happy to drop some playlists that I use. But Spotify is the most amazing tool. Because if you find a song that you like and that speaks to you, you go to Spotify, you play that song and don't play the song, play songs like this or play playlists, and it'll offer you 1,000 like it. And then you can get in the most beautiful mood so quickly. Music can change your mood like that. So what I can offer you and the audience today is what I do with my clients, and that's a nice grounding meditation. So if you're open to it, I can do that with you now.
Let's do that.
Yeah, okay. So we're going to start this meditation, and the first thing I want you to do is just find a comfortable position, whether it's on the floor or on a chair or on a cushion or on your bed. Just find a spot where you feel relaxed. I like to sit cross-legged, but it's not always comfortable for everybody else. Just find a space where you're nicely held on the floor or on a cushion or on the sofa, and just relax into your position and begin to breathe very gently in and out with me together. So just breathing in and breathing out, and really letting the sound out with the breath. So breathing in and breathing out. Maybe you want to place a hand on your heart gently. That's very soothing for your nervous system. Just feeling your heart gently under your hand. Breathing into your heart. And letting it out. That's already feeling a little bit calmer. And now we're going to do something called deep belly breathing, which really helps you settle down the polyvagal nervous system and gets you into a place of feeling calm in your body. So just gently placing your hand on the belly. You can keep the hand on your heart if you want. So one hand on your heart, one hand on the belly. Breathing into the belly as if your belly is a little balloon, and just letting it blow up a little bit. Breathing in and letting it out. And again into the belly, breathing in and breathing out. Lovely. And now we're going to do 3 breaths as we raise our hands in a circle up to the sky, as if your hands are like the sunshine, leading with a breath. Breathing in
Up to the top and hold, and letting it out. Opening up your lungs, shaking out your shoulders, shaking out your wrists and elbows. We're going to do that another couple of times. Breathing in with your arms going up to the top and letting it down. As you let out with the breath any worries. Shake them out. Shake, shake, shake. Shake out your wrists. Shake out your elbows. And maybe wriggling from side to side, making some little circles with your hips like this. Just breathing in and breathing out as you make the circles with your hips and letting out any tension that you're carrying in your hips and sacrum. Breathing in one more time, up to the top. Welcoming yourself into this beautiful space where you're safely held and letting it out. With a breath. Beautiful. So now this meditation is going to be a little body scan, and we're going to go from the top of the head all the way down to the soles of the feet, relaxing each muscle in turn and helping them to feel loved and safely held and supported. So you can, if you wanted to breathe in and out the first time, you can gently close your eyes or lower your gaze. So breathing in. Breathing out, closing your eyes and feeling the top of your head, your scalp, sending love to all the muscles in the top of your head, the back of your head, your forehead, your eyes and eyebrows. Breathing in. Breathing out, relaxing the muscles at the sides of your eyes. Breathing in. Breathing out, relaxing the muscles in your nose, your ears, your cheeks, your mouth, your lips, and your chin, giving your jaw a little wiggle. Maybe pushing your tongue against the inside of your cheek and rolling it around your mouth. Just relaxing inside of your mouth, letting your tongue loose. Breathing in, breathing out, relaxing your mind, your brain, your left brain, your right brain. Anything that's trying to think and racing thoughts, just letting them drop. Don't need your mind right now. Just let it run away like a little pony. And perhaps you can visualize a beautiful silk blanket dropping over your mind and just letting it sleep and relax for a minute while we practice this beautiful relaxation. Breathing in. Breathing out. Relaxing the muscles in your throat, your jaw, the back of your neck. Breathing in and breathing out. Sending love and relaxation to your shoulders and feeling any weight that's lifted, that's carrying on your shoulders, just dropping down onto the ground. And just letting it slide down your arms with a thump. You don't need it now, no worries. Just letting any cares or worries slide down to the ground. Breathing in. Breathing out, relaxing your chest, your lungs, your heart, feeling them open and receive beautiful golden light, divine light. Breathing in. Breathing out, sending love to your back, your spine, feeling like as if there's a beautiful, gentle hand at your back, holding you, supporting you, loving you. Feeling angels' wings at your back spreading out over you, over your whole body and head, encompassing you in rays of golden light. Breathing in. Breathing out, feeling all your vertebrae, holding your spine, flowing and the juices that hold them. The canal where your nervous system flows from your mind all the way down to your sacrum, down to your hips, held safely and beautifully by the floor, the earth, and Mother Earth underneath you supporting you. Breathing in, breathing out. Feeling your arms grow heavy, feeling into your elbows, your lower arms, the wrists, the tops of your hands, the bottoms of your hands, and one by one feeling into all your fingers. Just breathing in, breathing out, feeling them relax, sending them love, sending them thanks for supporting you and holding you all through the day, your back, your chest, your arms, your tummy, feeling into the digestive organs, feeling your gut and tummy relax, Breathing in. Breathing out. Feeling your glutes relax, your bowels and bladder, your hips and your hip flexors. Just breathing in. Breathing out, sending love to all your body, your hips, your thighs, your knees. Feeling your shins relax, your calves, your ankles, the tops of your feet, the bottoms of your feet. Breathing in. Breathing out, feeling your toes gently supported by the earth. Breathing in. Breathing out, and now feeling as if it's a gentle heat rising from the center of the earth. Visualizing the molten lava at the center of the earth rising up, warming you from below. Feeling a gentle red light glowing around your hips and legs, giving you a sense of gentle security, the foundation that's at your core, the strength of your ancestors that came before you, your mothers, your grandmothers, who hold you, who support you, who love you, encourage, cheer you on. All the souls of the mothers and grandmothers that came before in our nation, holding you, peace and love and grace. Feeling the beautiful red light glowing, warming you. And as it rises up through your belly, you're feeling it glowing in orange, like the glowing coals of embers, feeling into the place in your belly where all your emotions are held. Glowing a beautiful orange as you feel into any emotions that came to visit you today. And maybe there was some love, and maybe also some fear, some joy, some moments of calm. And each one is an honored guest, and you presence it and allow it, and choose which ones you want to keep and which you like to let go. And as you let go, you breathe in and breathe out, letting go of any emotions that you don't need today, breathing into the ones that you want to hold on to. And maybe there's some calm, serenity, and safety. Breathing in. Breathing out, feeling into that beautiful warm feeling of the lovely emotions that are holding you in your belly as they glow, and beautiful yellow sunlight, golden sunlight glowing from the center of your belly button and out into your body, into the world. And as your physical strength coming up from your belly radiates out, it glows up into your heart and chest. You're feeling the growth that comes from below, from above, supported by the earth, supported by the sky and the sunlight, and even by the rain, and even the storms that carry electricity, all helping the shoots within you to grow. First their shoots, and then their leaves, and finally the flowers, and eventually the fruit. Breathing in. Breathing out, fully opening your heart and sending out love to all that need it today, glowing a beautiful emerald green. As the light rises into your throat, you're feeling a sky blue light glowing inside your throat, allowing you to breathe, allowing you to speak, and even sing, giving you full permission to speak your truth out loud into the world, safely held and supported. Nothing is wrong with you. You came here to speak your truth, and you came here with your own authenticity, and you fully deserve to be here. You fully deserve to be heard. Breathing in, breathing out, and as the light floats up in between your eyes, you sense this beautiful indigo color glowing. It's your third eye, where the wisdom of your ancestors, of God, speaks to you when you connect through prayer, through meditation, through walking in nature. The wisdom that's always there. It just needs a moment to access, and it's always yours. Breathing in, breathing out, and as the blue light glows up to the top of your head, you feel beautiful golden light descend on you from above. It's the divine light of the Shekhinah, lighting up your body from within. Your beautiful neshama, glowing in all the colours of the rainbow, feeling that beautiful feeling of being held and loved, radiating out goodness and light. Your beautiful, unique light into the world. Feeling beautiful, delicious, safely held by God, by the earth, nourished and nurtured. Feeling calm. And as you breathe in, and as you breathe out, if you could sense yourself floating away and you could see yourself, you'd see yourself in your best self, glowing, radiant, beautiful, Eshet Chayil, glowing out your beautiful golden light to all your family, to all your friends, to all the world, sending out love to those that need it most, and to yourself. Just taking a moment to bathe in that beautiful light, breathing in, breathing out, when there's no rush to come back, but when you feel ready, just starting to wiggle your fingers and toes as you open them gently. Open your eyes, fluttering your eyelashes as you come back into this beautiful space, and smile.
Relaxing and empowering. I hope that other people feel that same way. And you can find this recording again and listen to it again every time you need it, or just even some parts of it. Okay. So after that, I've actually a question I had before, because I'm in Zen, but I have this question from before. When people ask you, how are you? People ask you, how are you? And you really want to know, do you have time to hear me? And like, how do we answer that? Or should we even be asking someone, how are you?
There isn't any should. We're all human beings. We show up as we can. Devora and I were having a laugh about it this morning because Devora's first question to me was, how are you? And there was a long and awkward silence because so many of us do not know how to answer that question now. And it's okay. It's okay. Everything is okay. I think we just have to, the Jewish people have a sense of humor. We can make a joke out of anything. Like, how am I supposed to be? What are you going to do? We show up. That's how I am. I'm showing up. I'm showing up. I'm showing up in this minute the best I can. That's all we have. And I think what I tried to bring to this session was a demonstration of how safety is in the moment. It's in this present moment. It's not in going into the past if we can't change that. It's not in going into the future because, there's no point. We don't know what the future is. And worry is as logical as not worry. Because if we're going to project our imagination into the future and worry, that's not logical. We might as well project our mind into the future and think of something amazing that will happen. We're taught, and the Amida, we're told, we're taught to visualize the good. So every time our imagination drags us over to what will be our natural inclination is obviously negative, there to protect a protective mechanism, and it's normal. There's something called the negative bias in the mind. From a scientific perspective, it's logical. And from a faith perspective, it's logical because God is encouraging us to grow, to take what is dark and bring it into the light. And so my message for you today is to cross that line of courage. And every time you see bad, every time you have a negative thought, you think, yes, and think of 3 positive things. Whether it's about that or about something else, it doesn't even matter if it's a daisy. That's pretty. Because who asked for that? When we ask why me or why this, that's the wrong question. It comes from a place of ego. Ego asks, what can I get? What are people going to think of me? How is this going to harm me? Essence asks, how can I serve? And in that question, we're never afraid. That's the line of courage.
How can I serve? It doesn't have to be something amazing and big and And
No, it could be, how can I serve me right now so that my mental health is good? It could be, how can I serve? I think I need 5 minutes to just be. I want to close my door and hide in my duvet. Service too.
And I think also, like, allow yourself to be happy. Go to a bar mitzvah, go to a wedding. Just, it's okay. It's a very
And
an end world. There's something happening, huge happening for the Jewish people and in Israel. And at the same time, there's a bar mitzvah now. So I could be at this bar mitzvah and I could be happy and I could be laughing and I could be enjoying the company. And that's saying, it's just so weird that I'm at a bar mitzvah when there's so little.
yeah,
How could I be eating all this amazing food when there's soldiers and the captives? And
I'm
it's
so happy
weird.
that you raised that point. I'm so happy that you raised that point, because I actually did one. I was thinking about that before. There's such a strong sense of guilt within us, especially as women as well. And as Jewish women, that compounded. I mean, being Jewish and a woman, all the guilt. So I would strongly encourage you, every time you feel that guilt, to recognize it and become aware of it and notice it, because that's the first step to healing, and realize that that's not what Hashem wants from us right now. And how I can prove it to you from the Torah, it's a difficult passage, but this is what was told to me, and I accept it because this is what was brought down. It's not me saying it, I was told it. So in the Tehillim, there is one point where David had lost his son, his baby son, but Sheva gave birth to a little, I think it was a little boy, and he was trying he was a king. He had access to all the medics and all the people who could heal. You know, he had access to all the best medical, best doctors for his son, and nobody could save his son. And I think during the time that he was trying to save his son, he was beside himself with grief, was feeling guilty about his crime with his sin with Bathsheba, and he was thinking, this is all my fault, and this is this, and oh my God, that, and how am I going to help my baby? And then when the baby died, he wrote this following chapter, and it says, Song of David, Almut Labine. I can't remember how it starts, Almut Labine. And it says, Oda Hashem b'chol levav. I thank Hashem with all my heart. And that's emunah, because when something has happened and we can't change it, we have to surrender. We have to say, that's happened and that's not for me now, that's for Hashem. We give it to Hashem. And he danced and he sang and he said, now we have to show up and have simcha, because the grief is just going to take me down. That's not service. And service is for me now to live in this moment as a Jew as fully as I can and bring it. And if bringing it means putting on my music and dancing and supporting other women and going to simchot, that's beautiful. And there's no guilt. So I just want to offer that to everyone.
I think also, like, no guilt. If you need to pamper yourself. Like, this.
Absolutely. Bring on the Moroccan rose bubble bath, all of it. You know, really.
Like, don't disallow yourself to have things because someone's having it worse right now. It doesn't help them, and it doesn't help you to withhold whatever it is. Okay, you don't have to have those extravagant vacation right now. I put it all on Facebook.
Yeah.
You can keep it in moderation, but don't not allow yourself because someone else is having it worse, or because I should be doing something else. So I shouldn't even be having this time, because if I was able to volunteer, I wouldn't be having this time and I wouldn't even be thinking about it. But you are thinking about it. So take care of yourself.
Absolutely. Let whatever unhappiness and terror has been caused stay there, and do not terrorize and traumatize yourself. And there's no mitzvah in making yourself scared and looking at pictures you don't need to be looking at, or in just sitting there being miserable and feeling helpless and powerless. Although if you do, don't judge yourself, because we all do a little bit, but just know that boundary, that time, and say it's normal and human to feel this way. If you need help processing your emotions, please reach out to people like me. I think, Devora, you're also a coach. There are many, many coaches you could reach out to. Some of us are offering free services at this time, so never feel you can't afford to do that thing. Reach out to me, and if it can't be me at that point, I can probably point you to somebody else that can. But don't feel alone. Don't feel you have to be, I'm not saying don't be unhappy. Look, there are things that are right to feel grief about. The grief is important, and we can't just push it aside. because every emotion is there to be processed and to be felt and to be heard, and turn it into prayer. If prayer is to you to heal him, fine. If prayer is to you just shouting at God like Tibia the milkman, then do that thing. If it means going into the forest and screaming, that's also a prayer. Call out, That's what we were taught to do. It said in Mitzrayim, "Vayuz aku and Hashem batzar lahem," because they didn't have any words. They just screamed and God heard them. So really know that you're heard, whichever way that your way is to connect.
And I just want to add to that is that if no one's coming to you for any specific support, you can try to find, if you want to be doing something and there's nothing around in your community, and or what's around is not what you would like to be doing, or doesn't match your skill set or your interest set, then you can create something or reach out further to somebody else. And there's so much you can do. It could be creative or not. You don't have to do the most amazing thing. You don't have to do something that even is Instagram worthy. It's just for yourself and for others, and just see what you can do. I know there are people saying that, but what can I do? I don't have the money and I don't have the time, or I'm not articulate and I can't be posting. So like, what can I do? They're not packing things in my neighborhood. So what can I do? And I think it's maybe you do have to be a little bit more creative about what you can do, because all the typical things are not available to you. But if you want to be doing something, prayer could be one, but maybe reach out a little bit further.
You know what? Start a dance group, start a drawing group, doodling, journaling. These are also beautiful trauma processing tools and just fun. You're allowed to have fun, and just like getting out and exercising is so healthy right now. If tennis is your thing, go back to doing tennis. Don't give up all the things that you used to do. Don't stop living, because that's what they want. And that's not what we are taught. We are bringing joy to the world and light to the world. And that includes bringing joy to yourself. I started this a couple of days ago. Last week, I started my own little group. It's online and it's free. Anyone can join the Zoom. It's called Gate of Trust. It's a beautiful book that was written by one of our prominent sages 1,000 years ago on trust and faith. And I swear to you, every single word I've read in this book is super relevant today. It helps me to begin my day with trust and faith, even when I wake up feeling panic and overwhelmed. That grounds me. So I would encourage you, either attend my one, attend somebody's one around. There are so many people doing free services. It's mostly online, days on Zoom. And it doesn't have to be that. It can be anything. Like, for example, I went on Amazon and I clicked and ordered, and with whatever limited budget you have, you can order a first aid kit for a soldier to be delivered to wherever it is that they are packing it up. It can be delivered there. I mean, there's so many ways that you can help. But assuredly that you are of service and there is something that you can do. And even if you're a service to yourself in this moment, that is service too. So don't be afraid to just make yourself that cup of tea and sit there and enjoy it and look at the birds, because we're only here for short. And God wants us to enjoy and appreciate his beautiful world.
Well, just to finish with that, I think that if you don't have joy, you really can't bring yourself to do for others. Like, I think if we're so despondent, we can't be of service. So start with the joy, so that when there is something of service that you can be part of, you're ready to be part of it. If you just keep getting yourself more despondent, you won't even be able to be part of it later.
So to start with joy is a very beautiful way of doing it. And it sounds really simple and obvious, and everyone's like, yeah, I've had that. But gratitude journaling is one of the most powerful tools that I've ever used. And it's just a little book like this. Keep it next to your bed and just write 3 things that you're grateful for. And when you start, you find that there are so many things, that I can see, that I can, delicious cup of coffee. It doesn't have to be complicated. But every day, just begin the day with gratitude, and your mind starts to tune into joy, and then your body starts to feel joy. So it's just that opening that aperture, opening that window for a little fresh air, and you'd be amazed what happens.
Great. So thank you so much, Shulamit.
You're so welcome.
How can someone reach you? And it'll also put in the show notes, but just in case someone doesn't get to read the show notes.
Okay, so I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. My Instagram is BellRev. I'll spell it out for you. So it's BELLES_REVES. That means sweet dreams or beautiful dreams. And my Facebook is Shulamit Rebecca Frankel. And on LinkedIn, the same, Shulamit. I've got Frankel-Rudowski, that's both of my names. I'll pop it in the chat, so I think you'll be able to drop it in the chat. Yeah, very simple, really. Social media.
So thank you for offering it for the community, for everybody. And if someone's listening, you can share it out with somebody else. At least for the next 2 weeks, you said they were doing it free of charge.
Yeah, be free next week for sure. Let's see what happens. Hopefully the situation, like I'm really praying for. I know that it sounds crazy to think that it'll be a short war, but my name is Shulamit because my mom named me Shulamit because I was born right after the 6-day war. And believe me, nobody thought that would be over in 6 days. And who knew? And COVID happened overnight. And so could something good happen overnight. So who knows? We daven for Mashiach. We have to believe that could happen too, right?
Amen.
So,
all right. So thank you, Shulamit. And now looking forward to talking to you again.
Me too, really. It's been such a privilege and an honor. And thank you again, Devora, for bringing it on behalf of all the women in our community who are literally, coming together and to be supported by someone like you. Such a beautiful, calming presence. Thank you for holding this space.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining me in another fascinating conversation about midlife. If you'd like to reach me, Devora Krasnianski, to talk about your midlife or anything else, you can reach me at jewishmidlife@gmail.com. You can also find us on our website, jewishmidlife.com, and follow us on Jewish Midlife on Instagram or Facebook, and join our conversations in our Facebook group at facebook.com/groups/JewishWomenTalkAboutMidlife. And share what we're doing with your friends and others in the midlife phase.